Come see us at the store and take some.
We'll have to do multiple runs because we suck.
I love it.
Okay, 3.
Hello again, and on this episode, we're going to talk a little to you about home defense firearms, which ones are the best for your application, possibly. And we're going to get started. Today, you've got myself, Sean,
Levi, and Paul,
and we're all employees here at Nashville Armory. And some of the topics that we're going to hit are, shotguns, rifles, pistols, which ones are the best, what they do, what are some of the myths, and go on from there. So I guess let's get started, and let's talk, I guess right off the top of it is shotguns, because personally I like shotguns the best for home defense. They're very devastating in their short distance. Most of your homes are short, unless you live in a big mansion. They're very devastating in power and get the job done. Some of their downsides would be, what do you think?
I think one of the biggest downsides, I mean, with any firearm, but shotguns, because they have such a big blast.
Yeah.
I mean,
And recoil.
The recoil, but also the sound of being in such a confined space.
Yeah.
I mean, not that you're really caring about your hearing in a home defense situation.
Right.
If your ears ring, then that's fine.
Right.
But,
yeah. You're alive with ringing ears, and
exactly.
that's better than being in the grave with unringing ears.
Yep.
your ears are going to ring no matter what.
Yeah.
Probably.
Right.
Exactly. So I think that's the only real downside is how, I mean, as far as recoil and things like that.
Right.
And, but other than that, I mean, shotgun's scary.
They are. So I guess the biggest thing with shotguns, I mean, other than being devastating and very effective and everything, what rounds would be best to use possibly? I've always been of the favor of buckshot. Shotguns are made to spread.
Mm-hmm.
All right. If we use slugs in them, which are very effective as well, you're limiting yourself to a single projectile. You might as well shoot a pistol or something like that. So, you want a shotgun to spread. One of the myths, I guess you could say, with a shotgun is everybody thinks that they just spread dramatically, like stick it down the hallway.
And you don't have to aim.
And you don't have to aim. You still do have to aim, because a general rule for a 18-inch smoothbore shotgun with using 9-pellet buckshot is typically going to be spread rate of 1 inch of spread per yard of travel. And that is a good average, So if you take your hallway and measure it, I don't know where you guys live and how big your houses are, but typically you're looking at maybe a 6 to 7 yard hallway shot, or maybe across the living room. Mm-hmm. So I'm doing the quick math, and I'm not good at math, but
7 times 2.
You're looking at typically a 6 to 7 yard or 6 to 7 inch pattern. If your hallway is typically 3 to 4 feet wide, there's definitely some room for miss. So you definitely have to aim. These pistol grip shotguns and stuff. You can get good with them, but you got to do a lot of practice with them to get good. What do you guys think on shotguns? You guys agree with that kind of stuff?
I've had them before. Yeah. It's not my main one,
right?
But I've had them as a main one in the past.
Mm-hmm.
So
that's the same thing with me. Actually, one of my home defense, I still have it actually as a home defense weapon, is one of my shotguns. Our gunsmith recently cut down the barrel on it, just because it had a standard length barrel. We wanted to cut it down, but we were surprised actually with the spread on it as well, because I was expecting it to go, because there would be no choke on it, just be basically the tube. But it was that same exact principle. We used double buckshot through it, and it was that same kind of spread. It was just very nice and tight, and that was about 8 yards. So there definitely is, that myth about spread with shotguns. Yeah. It's just it's not very true. There's more finesse to it than that.
And typically, what I'll tell people and customers here is if you're going to use a shotgun for home defense, is pattern your shotgun. Mm-hmm. Measure. I tell them to go home and measure distances of their home where they possibly think there might be a shot. Record those distances. Come out to the range. Shoot different targets at each one of those ranges with the shotgun shells that you're going to shoot. Pattern it and memorize what that pattern's going to be. It's a good, it's a good thinking of, and it's kind of it hits home on, I could have missed, or, is it going to spread that wide? So, the other thing about shotguns are, and then I'll go through this myth because this drives me crazy, that this sound right here is going to scare an intruder away. It's probably going to scare an intruder away about as much as you yelling at him But let's think about that. So crazy guy breaks into your house at 2 or 3 a.m. in the morning.
Right. Knows your home.
Knows your home. Do you really think that a sound is going to deter him, being that he already had the intent of coming in and doing harm to you, knowing that you're home?
He already knows there's a body that might be scared.
Right. I strongly think that the only sound that the intruder should hear would be, I gotta make a joke.
The last sound he hears.
Somebody put my safety on. Is that right there? And that would be the last sound he hears. But thinking that this is gonna scare somebody away. Honestly, you telling them that you have a gun might be just as good doing. Don't think that a sound. And obviously, I'm not advocating anybody go be a killer or anything, but you have to do what you have to do inside your home.
Yep.
The other thing about shotguns or long guns in general is having a light on one. With a pistol, you can work with a separate light, but with a long gun, you typically have to have two hands on it. It makes it very difficult to shoot a shotgun or rifle with a light, obviously not mounted on the gun. Whatever light you pick, it doesn't have to be an expensive Surefire like this or anything. I personally like this because it doesn't have wires and cords and everything to get in, and it's done well for me through the years. The side saddle, downsides to shotguns is they don't hold a lot of ammo, and they are a little bit more difficult to reload without training. We do offer a shotgun class here at Nashville Armory, and if any of you guys are thinking about getting into shotguns and training, I highly recommend that type of training. But the side saddle, it's probably not really going to be needed in a home because, let's face it, 5 to 6 rounds, you should get it done in your home, I hope. If not, the zombies are definitely attacking. So, anything else you guys want to talk about shotguns? 20 gauge versus 12?
Yeah, that's a good point. I mean, 20 gauge versus 12. The common argument.
Everybody wants to play with my
The common argument that first addressing what you said about the pump as well. I mean, that's just the international language. Everyone knows what that means.
Yeah. And the movies have really stretched that out a whole lot more, and I think that's where a lot of people get it from.
Yep, it's that language that says get out of here. But along with that, like you were talking about, something that I wouldn't recommend at all. We hear customers come and talk about it. People recommend it to each other. The whole warning shot myth. Yeah. That's just, if you're gonna fire, then make it count, because it's just stupid to think, I'm gonna give them a warning shot. No. It's like you're just aimlessly damaging your home.
It may be it may be your only shot.
Yeah, it may be your only shot. Exactly.
Yeah.
You got to make it count.
So for me, the 20 versus 12. I mean, it really boils down to who's going to be using it in my home.
Yeah.
Right.
So like, I have kids, I have a wife. They're not comfortable with a 12. So for me, it'd be probably a 20.
Yeah, 20s are going to recoil a little less,
Recoil less. It's still going to be devastating.
Your pattern's going to be very similar.
Yeah, pattern's going to be similar. I mean, it's going to have less shot in it.
Right.
So, the pattern will be a little different based on the amount of pellets hitting, but still very effective. Yeah. If it was somebody who couldn't handle a 12, I would definitely recommend a 20. Mm-hmm. And you can typically get all the accessories for a 20 gauge that you can for a 12.
Yep. And that is the nice thing about shotguns, is that they're super simple to operate. So if it's people in your home, of course, eventually you should have everyone in your home be familiar with guns, at least that's able to operate them safely. But a shotgun, that's the nice thing about it, is that anyone really can pick it up and make it work.
That's what I think. So, okay, enough about shotguns. Let's talk about other types of guns. Maybe people aren't comfortable with shooting shotguns. Let's talk about rifles. That'll be next on the list. So, what do you guys think about rifles for home defense?
Rifles
with a rifle caliber.
With a rifle caliber. Mm-hmm. Rifles.
Or pistol caliber, I guess. You could still use a pistol caliber. I mean, either or.
Yeah. I think with rifles, of course, you do have a bigger bang. Mm-hmm. Like, you have a lot of capacity with them, especially if you're going with an AR platform style setup. Then there's the AK versus AR debate, but with rifles especially, you do have, like what he did with his shotgun, he made it into a short barrel shotgun, which is actually super nice for close quarters encounters, basically.
Right, less bulky.
Exactly. So like something like, if it comes to a rifle, a full length rifle, and it depends on the user. I mean, not everyone wants to do a short barrel rifle. Not everyone wants to do, a pistol build for their rifle, but a rifle round, you have a lot of capacity with it, and you have a lot of power behind it as well.
Right. Just pick the right round. You don't want something that's going to be over penetrating.
Yep.
Right,
Because of
and
balls
that's what
things
I was
like
going to
that.
get on. Yeah, is a lot of people think that a rifle, oh my God, it's so powerful, it's going to penetrate through walls. Well, a lot of things that people don't realize is with a typical AR-15 in a .223 caliber or 5.56 caliber, picking the right round and using it for a home defense. If they were to pick something like a soft tip bullet, like a VMAX, or you know, some sort of bullet that expands, it's less likely to go through multiple walls in your house.
Yeah.
Everything gun-wise, everything bullet-wise, nobody makes a magic bullet that will not penetrate a wall. Walls are made out of sheetrock and
Yeah.
wood. I mean, there's nothing inside them. But a rifle traveling so fast with such a small bullet like that, that expands, typically if it was to hit something hard, it will dissipate its energy. Now, change that into a 300 Blackout or an AK, like you said, 30 caliber bullet. Even if it was a expanding bullet, it's got a lot more energy and it's going to penetrate through. So people thinking that you know, ARs wouldn't be a good home defense gun, I think they actually are, because they're easier to shoot sometimes for most people. Definitely
Yes.
have low recoil,
easy to reload.
easy to reload, lots of capacity. Once again, I mean, unless the zombies are attacking, you know, you might not need that much, but it less chances for reloading if something was to happen like that.
Yeah.
So I think an AR, you know, in a .223 or 5.56 with the right round would be a decent home defense gun.
Absolutely.
You know?
Yeah.
Definitely, you can put lights on them, all sorts of attachments, just like you can the shotgun, to be able to identify targets and stuff like that. You know, make sure it's not your drunk neighbor coming in your house by accident and shoot him. You know, that kind of stuff.
Which
So-
happens.
which could happen. You know, I mean, you know, and you feel bad about it, right? Because we like our drunk neighbor.
Yes, we do.
All right. Okay. What about pistols?
Pistols. That's what
mean, it's
I
very-
actually have.
Yeah, and it's most widely used by people as pistols.
Yeah.
You know,
Most readily available.
I think most people are comfortable with shooting pistols over everything because they shoot them more often.
Yes, absolutely.
You know,
This is actually what I have in my nightstand, is the HK VP9.
Is that yours, or did you steal that out of the
Well,
cabinet?
it might be the one from the store.
Okay, okay.
But anyway, it does have night sights, which I like. And of course, I keep a separate light right next to it. I don't like my light right on my firearm.
All right.
I just like my hands being free to be able to shine on what I want to.
Yep.
And not shine on something that my gun is automatically going to be on.
Yeah.
Yep.
And there's
that would not be good for my kids.
Yeah, and there's two different methods, like you said. You know, you don't want to use your light to identify all the time, because it could be your kids, and therefore you're pointing your
Right.
gun, you know, at your kids. You know,
Exactly.
It's two total different methods. You know, one on the gun, one off the gun. It really comes down to training.
Right.
That is definitely another class that we do offer here, is low light classes, and how to use lights with firearms and whatnot. Very important to have a light, I think, in your home, because I don't know about you guys, but I typically shut the lights off in my house when I go to sleep. You know, it's
I turn off
nighttime,
all the lights
you know?
and turn down
So
the
it's
heat.
dark. So it's
yeah.
dark, you know, and we definitely want to be able to identify the target, even though we feel like if there's a bad guy in our house, obviously game is on, but it could be our kid getting up at night, getting a glass of water, or
Yeah.
our drunk neighbor there. See, I keep bringing that
Constantly.
drunk neighbor guy up again.
What's
know?
up with your
wrong with
neighbors?
your
Well, you know, I mean, they like to party, you know, whatever. But definitely, like you said, night sights is very important.
I love
you
the
know?
night
Oh, yeah.
sights. Everyone in my family can shoot it.
Yep.
It's a 9mm, not a lot of recoil. There's a million options for ammo.
Yep.
Yep.
Hollow points and fragmenting bullets and
Yep.
all of that. All the stuff that I put in it has run really well. And again, always run what you're planning on defending yourself
Yep.
with through your gun to make sure it works.
Quality check.
And yeah, it's a great gun. It's really easy to use, and it's compact. It's not cumbersome. You know, it's easy to navigate your hallways and your houses and your bedrooms with it. Not that I do that every night.
Oh,
but,
you're a SWAT operator, you know.
but I know that it's going to function. It's a high quality gun. It's easy to use, and that's what I have now.
Right.
Now that I have kids, and my youngest
Right.
is 8, he's not comfortable with a shotgun
Right.
or an AR, but they can all shoot that.
Handguns do.
It's also easier to, if you've got kids at home, it's also easier to secure this next to your
Yes,
bed
absolutely.
versus something like this or a rifle. You know, so that's
Oh,
another thought of a home defense gun is, can you secure it while you're not around it? You know,
Right.
if it's next to your bed, you can definitely buy some of these small safes that we offer here and whatnot.
And there's a million
and
safe
you know,
options.
and you can secure it where it's a lot harder to secure a shotgun or a rifle next to your bed.
Because that's the trade-off is really, I mean, being able to have a gun that you feel most comfortable for your home and for whatever you'd feel you'd want for self-defense, but being able to secure it depending on your living situation
And access it
also
quick.
being able to access it quickly.
Yeah.
That's like Sean said, our safes that we have here, Vault-Tec safes. I've been in the look for a lot of safes over the years for just like a home defense tenant safe where I can keep a handgun in there, or
Right.
other stuff like that. And the Vault-Tec safes are super nice quality, and it's just something easy, fast you can access.
And then, so another myth on pistols, real quick, would be pistols don't go through walls as much as rifles do. Actually, wrong. Pistol bullet, back to that energy factor again. It's a slow traveling big bullet, has a lot of energy. I did a lot of shooting with a law enforcement guy that was a friend of mine years ago, and he kind of blew my mind on that because I used to think the same thing years ago. And he said a 40 caliber will shoot through a Crown Vic car with a hollow point
Man.
out of a Glock 22.
Jeez
so
Louise.
we did it. We shot
wow.
he had a car to shoot up, and we shot a Crown Vic, and that bullet went through the trunk, through the back seat, through the front seats, through the dashboard, and stopped in the firewall.
Oh my
Wow.
God.
You know, a car, I would dare say, is probably a little bit more armored than the interior walls of your
Yeah,
house.
your house. Yeah, my house is crap. So
you could imagine what a pistol bullet would do in your house.
Yeah.
Even with a hollow point bullet. You know, so the main thought would be hit your target.
Yeah, well,
And I know that's sometimes under stress that's not
the
the
goal.
easiest
That's
thing, but
always
that
the
is
goal.
the goal.
Hit your target.
Hit your target, but definitely do a lot of training, practice, and be proficient with your firearm. No matter
Absolutely.
what you're shooting, you know, whether it's be a handgun, a rifle,
Yeah.
or a shotgun, you know, be proficient with it. You know,
Yeah.
get out to the range and shoot it a lot, pattern it. Take some of our defensive classes that teach you how to use your handgun, your shotgun, or your rifle in a defensive situation.
Right.
You know,
Aware
it's
of the
it's more than
situation.
just standing there at a still moving paper target and saying I'm doing really good. You know, people don't realize that when somebody's trying to hurt them, their body goes under stress and all things
Fight or
change.
flight.
Yep,
yeah,
all
most
things change.
criminals are not made out of paper.
Yeah.
No, they're not.
Yeah.
They're not.
No.
So
Well, that's the common misconception as well. Is I mean, we get it in every day where people, even with personal carry guns, it's like, oh, it's not going to be something I'm going to shoot all the time.
Right.
In actuality, it's
You-
just
you should.
you should, because if it's a home defense weapon, like Sean said, I mean, it comes down to being familiar with your gun because it's fight or flight. Your body goes into response mode. It thinks target, I got to take this out. And you want your muscle memory to kind of take in, and you want to be able to actually operate the gun that you're using.
Yeah, don't buy a firearm and then stick it in the closet like you would a fire extinguisher. I mean,
Right.
it's something that you really
Yep.
want to practice with and get proficient, like Sean said.
I have my fire extinguisher.
And be able to move around with it. I mean, if you just come to the range and shoot your targets, that's a great start. But until you start moving and shooting and
Right.
taking courses of action like Sean was
Learning-
talking about.
learning how to draw
you don't-
from your holster,
You don't know what
change
your
some
body's going to
magazines.
do. Once
Yeah.
you start moving, everything is different.
Well, even then, and it's not really paranoia, but I mean, some people chalk it up to be paranoia, but like come up with a plan. If someone comes in through that window, if
Right.
someone comes in through the front door, what am I
Yeah,
going to do?
be
What's the
prepared.
plan? Yeah, what's the plan for the family? How am I going to take out, this threat?
Well, cool. Well, I think we had a pretty good discussion here this morning about it. You guys got any final thoughts on what we talked about? What would be your choice? I mean, I know you said your choice is a handgun.
Handgun right now, I probably have some other things under the bed that Jess doesn't know about. But
Like clowns?
well, not so much clowns. I'm
Okay.
scared of clowns.
Yeah,
so
yeah,
there's
most
no
people
clowns. But I just
Those
think
clowns.
like whatever works for you and your family, that's what you go with,
Yeah.
and that's what you train with, and that's what you become proficient with. But
I agree.
that's my opinion.
Yeah, I agree.
Well, I brought mine today. I'm a single Pringle, so I just keep it wherever I want it to be. But this is my Zenith MP5K, and I've got a can on there as well. It's 9mm pistol carbine. I've made into a short barrel rifle. So
You're a big fan of John McClane, right?
I'm a big fan.
Yeah,
big fan.
I could see it. Yeah, little,
You have
little
a
die-hard
machine gun
action
now.
there.
Yeah, a little
yeah.
bit.
Yeah. You practice shooting like pistols underneath the chair and stuff,
Yeah,
at
yeah.
the table and
Got that
whatnot.
reloads in.
Yeah, that's sweet. That's cool.
But
That is a cool gun.
I mean, it's just a gun that I don't know. It's something I've always loved since I was a kid. But that's something I also deem is really, it's a tool that's really effective is a suppressor as well. And suppressing your rifle, even your shotgun or your handgun, it's a great accessory to have because, I mean, for me as well, like I was talking about, you know, being able to hear after you shoot, I just kind of like that just because with this, it literally is so quiet when I'm using hollow point ammunition, which actually also on certain types, the federal HSTs that I run through it are actually really nice suppressed. And so you get a little punch behind it, but you also get to maintain your hearing levels.
That's cool. Sean?
Well, you guys know me. I mean, I'm a shotgun aficionado, so sitting next to my bed is a, not this one. I have a...
That one's top secret. This is the one he lets people look at.
I have a Remington 1100. You know, I have a Remington 1100 tactical that's been all built and everything, has the Surefire line on it, the whole 9 yards. But
That's cool.
that typically sits next to my bed. But as well, my carry guns that I carry on a daily basis are on my nightstand as well.
Okay.
So, you know, I could be apt to grab a shotgun or a pistol.
Yeah.
You know, I also have lights there as well. You know, it's just I don't safe store my guns because my children are trained on all my firearms and they know not to mess with them and they know how to use them as well. So I don't have to lock them up next to my bed or anything like that. So when I get home at night, all my carry guns go right there on the nightstand. You know.
Your single actions.
There might be one or two there. You know, cowboy guns.
Yeah.
But I do like shotguns.
Yeah.
But like I said, whatever you guys choose in your home defense gun, the most important thing is shoot it a lot, learn how to shoot it, train with it, and become one with it. You know, I mean, you drive your car every day and you're used to it because you did it a lot. Your firearm should be no different. Well, thanks everybody for watching this episode of Guns and Coffee again. I hope you guys got a lot out of it in what we talked about, and be sure to watch us again.
Yeah, follow us on Facebook, YouTube, Instagram.
And visit us at the store, and don't forget to take some of our training classes. Yay. That was fun.
Sweet.
And look at my Valhalla mug.